about terrorism and how it could be coming to a community near you. We'll talk about some of the situations that have gone on along with that, you know, the active shooter situations. Is there anything that you can do about that? How can you protect yourself from something like that from happening? We're going to cover those kind of things on the Patriot Prepper Show, sponsored by P5 Preparedness. The show airs every Thursday from 11 to noon right here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. You can find it also on the TuneIn app on your smartphone. And of course, we are broadcasting live over YouTube. Go to the Hot News Talk radio station and you'll find us there. My name is Duke Nukem. I've been a prepper for well over 20 years. I have a lot of experience working in emergency management and especially getting ready for the things that our government doesn't want you to know about. I'm joined today by Eric Judd. How you doing, Eric?
I am doing wonderful, Duke. And yourself?
Man, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of really good weather. What have you been up to?
Well, you know, I've had great weather, so I've been doing some UAV flying around and trying to make $1 or $2. And I've been collecting pollen on my car as much as I can get. In fact, my car was yellow today, which was nice. It came out, and I thought I had a new car.
It's bad when I have to turn on the wipers to get the pollen.
It's terrible.
But, you know, hey, we're getting a lot of rain coming. You could have some severe weather this afternoon into the evening. Keep an eye on that. This is where we're getting into one of those peak seasons. It begins in March. It really peaks in May, and that's when those pesky tornadoes pop up. In our area here, we don't get a lot of really good radar coverage because of how far the radar's away. They're in Huntsville and then in Morristown, which is up near Knoxville. And so we really need to be a little bit more aware of the weather because, you know, it was in 2012, we had the tornadoes that popped up in the Ottawa, Snow Hill, Hickson area. Those caught a lot of people by surprise. I don't even think there was a warning issued before the tornado was on the ground for that.
Yeah, and then in 2010, you know, we had the bad one that hit Ringgold and went through Appleton. And, I mean, it was those were the bad ones. That come through Tuscaloosa and killed all the people there and then killed a few people here. So we don't get a lot of bad weather like that. But when it comes, it seems to get down in the valley. And this bowl that we live in and likes to bounce around like a good old pool ball.
Yeah, those things, that's one of those things where a lot of people, you know, they have the insurance, the homeowner's insurance, and they think, well, I'll be good, you know, but you got to be smarter than that. If it's a big one, get out of the way. You know, if you can't seek significant, sturdy shelter, just do something, find another place, but you got to prepare. You got to know what your plan is ahead of time. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, what's happened in Belgium has certainly been in the news coverage quite a bit. Obama has caught a lot of flack because he's been attending baseball games, but I might surprise a lot of people because I'm actually glad that he's doing what he's doing, and I'll explain that in a little bit.
I am too, but probably for a different reason than you are. And I'll explain that a little later. We got a lot of explaining to do there, Lucy.
One thing I like about Twitter is the funny memes that you get, or as some professional baseball players call them, memes. And, you know, I like seeing the picture of the Cuban refugees piled on top of Air Force One as it flies back to the United States. Kind of like some of those trains they've had from Mexico, right, with the illegals that are trying to get over the border. And anyway, the Twitter is a lot of fun if you're on there. So yeah, the Belgium terror attacks, we have bad guys that I say we, the international police community chased out of France several months ago. We knew they went to Belgium. We knew that they were in Brussels, but we couldn't find them. And then it came out late last night that we had evidence that there was a major terror attack that was in the works for Belgium. We just didn't know exactly when that happened. And then all of a sudden they're surprised when they catch an alleged terror mastermind that something bad happens.
Yeah, you know, and they're blaming it on the encryption of the new cell phones. That's why they didn't know where they are. Come on. Now, I know it probably is a pain to them that they can't get in and read my email because, gosh, it's saucy. I mean, it's so saucy, you know. But, I mean, really, everything else you have, all the billions of dollars we've spent in Apple or Google has just in their just little encryption, boom, has, you know, all of a sudden open terrorism to, you know, here at the studio. It's just, what a crock.
You know, these terrorists, they train in caves. They train in rocky terrain out in the desert. I don't think they have cell service out there.
No.
So maybe they have other ways of communicating other than
maybe they're doing it the old-fashioned way, and we want it because we're too stupid, not to follow up on that, or we don't want to spend the resources. We're going to blame it on a cell phone.
Right. Yeah. Bad stuff. So somewhere between 31 and 38 people have been killed, 180 injured. It's been 2 or 3 days, and we still have Americans that are missing. Were they kidnapped? Were they in hospitals? Are they using fake names?
Did you hear about the one guy that he got injured? It was the Mormon missionary. He was at the finish line in the Boston bombing, and he was in Paris when the shootings happened, and now he's in Brussels. If he asked me to go anywhere, I said, no, I don't think I'm going.
No, thank you. No, I would definitely like to know his itinerary.
Yes, I'd want to know where he's going.
Yeah.
But,
but hey, he's
19 years old. I mean, think about this. I mean, he's got to win the lottery when he comes
Dude
home.
Needs to come by the store. We need to get him some body armor.
Absolutely.
Well, the purpose of bringing up Belgium is that, it goes back to one thing I said about Belgium was that they knew these attacks were going to happen. But yet they didn't have enough evidence to stop it. They talk about the heroes in this. One guy that's a hero is the taxi driver that picked those guys up. He knew I think there was 2 guys that he gave a ride to, but at their house or apartment, they had 5 suitcases. And he said, no, or however you say that in Belgium.
Yeah. And that's something. And I don't want to make light of this, but stop and think about it. These terrorists are so smart. We can't find them. What they're doing. But yet they're so stupid that they hire a taxi that's not big enough to carry all their stuff to the. I mean, really?
Let's get a van. But hey, they're going to learn from that mistake. They're not going to make that mistake again.
Still, they're so smart, and they're doing this and doing that, and we don't. They're learning. But really, they didn't think about. They don't have enough common sense when we're leaving with 5 suitcases. Let's get the Fiat to take us to the airport.
If you go back to 9/11, we had 19. Members of our ally nation, Saudi Arabia, that boarded airplanes. They flew them into buildings. Obviously, that was a very, very bad day. But in the months leading up to that, there was a small flight school, I believe, outside of Minneapolis that called the FBI and said, hey, I got something kind of weird. I've got these Middle Eastern men that are taking flight lessons on jumbo jets, but they're not interested in landing or taking off.
No, that was it. They just wanted to learn what it was
just to fly. Hey, do you mind? Can you show me Washington, D.C. and New York? And they called the FBI, and the smart local lady from the FBI said, man, this is really weird. I got to call headquarters. So they called Washington, D.C., and those very smart people in Washington said, nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. Sure, there's nothing to it. Are you kidding me? We just had the San Bernardino attacks where the neighbors said, yeah, man, that couple, they were really weird, but I didn't want to report them because I didn't want to profile. I didn't want to be accused of being a racist.
I didn't want to be politically incorrect.
Wow. Powerful words there, folks. How many of you are politically correct?
Yeah.
How many of you are going to die because of your political correctness? How many of you carry a gun but leave it in the car because you're going to a restaurant that says no guns allowed?
Right.
Man, go to one of those restaurants that has the big fancy no guns allowed sign out there and just think, if you were a bad guy and you got,
where would you go?
Hey, you're advertising. There's nobody in this restaurant that has a gun unless you're smart. You're a concealed carry holder and you keep it in your waistband. You're there because you're going to be the sheepdog. You're going to help protect these blind sheep.
You're going to be the sheepdog for the sheeple. But, and I'm like you said, I mean, it's stuff like that. And here's what I hear all the time. Eric, you need to be nice. Why? Really? Those people in San Bernardino, they were really nice, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were so nice that they shared their lead and even tried to share some of their bomb making materials with innocent people.
Right. And people that threw them a baby shower.
Yeah.
That cared about them.
That were nice to
that
them.
Blended in. Mm-hmm. Wow. Do they really blend in, folks? The FBI, I was listening to the news this morning because I always like to get a glimpse to hear what's going on. Fox News had some very smart people talking about terrorism and how smart our intelligence services are. And they know where these people are. In Belgium, they know where they are. And the police are so scared, they don't go into those neighborhoods. They ignore them. But they think everybody comes from some training camp overseas and that we know where they all are. Folks, we've got an open border here where we're busing hundreds of refugees into this country from Mexico on U.S. government buses.
That aren't Mexican.
No, they're not. They're a mix of races. They're Middle Eastern. They're African. They're all different kinds of people. Some of them probably are Hispanic. But the point is that we don't track them. These buses are coming in. They're going up whatever the main interstate is. They're being dropped off in Kansas and Nebraska and Oklahoma. These are people that are coming into this country. Who knows what they're going to do? And you can get the supplies to make. Remember, folks, these aren't just people doing shootings. Even in the San Bernardino event, they had bombs.
Yep.
They didn't go off. They had some kind of little remote control
Their
card.
cell phone was bad.
You know, but
the one they can't open now.
Folks, we've got to be smart. We've got to start watching. We've got to start reporting. You know, you're talking about the borders. Okay, so does it make you a mean person? Does it make you a bigot, a racist, whatever term you want to use to say that we need to close our borders for a year just to get this thing under control? Now, a lot of people, you know, I'll say that and people look at me and, you know, oh my gosh, you hate people and you're, you know, I mean, they call me everything but except my middle name, which I like my middle name, Luscious. But other than that, that's a sidebar. So anyway, I gotta throw up. Hang on.
but they do, you know. But stop and think about it. Would you? All these people that are saying that. Well, I tell you what. As these people come across the border, you put tents in your backyard and let them stay in your backyard.
Yeah,
guarantee you they wouldn't do it. No, they wouldn't do it. Probably not because they're scared of terrorists, but because they're nasty or they don't speak the language or they're not Christian or whatever.
How many people has Michael Moore taken in?
Yeah, zero.
Or Al Gore?
Zero.
Or some of these folks. How many refugees has Saudi Arabia,
Think of
Yemen?
the people that could ride bicycles in the back of Al Gore's house so he could get off the grid. I mean, he could make all kind of electricity then, right?
Yeah.
See?
But the point that I'm trying to make here with this is that we're bringing these people in who's not screening, but yet our government says that we know who these people are. We have a system to track them.
They say it's part of our American heritage to do this.
But we have people that work for TSA that are arrested for bringing contraband, that are stealing from our luggage, that are, you know, who knows what those folks are going to do. And I'm trying to make a point here. My point, I'll just make the point. We have homegrown terrorists. The shooter that hit us here in Chattanooga was from the local mosque in Chattanooga. He was allegedly from a respected family. He had no reason to do what he was doing. He had an engineering degree.
He'd gone to school here. He had even gone to university here. So like you said, he's a homegrown guy. But what clicked and what happened to him, and they're trying to explain all this BS when they say things like, well, you know, his parents were going through a divorce. Well, my parents went through a divorce, and I didn't radicalize. And all of a sudden, you know, I'm riding up down the road in a rental car. My parents
went through a divorce at 7. I have not killed anybody
that you know of.
Period.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so yeah. So what's clicking with these things? We don't know who these people are. You know, the one thing about Islam is that they give a warning before that they're going to do something. And the warning is with a purpose. And I'm not going to quote the Quran here today, but the idea is that they have to give you, the enemy, the opportunity to convert to Islam. And they put out a warning. Osama bin Laden had an imam back in 1995 give such a warning to the United States. And the warning was that you need to convert to Islam and forego your evil ways or die. And so Islam, or whoever these radicals are, they declared war on us 20 years ago. That war is still going on. We're still trying to get used to the concept of that. So getting off the one thing I want to talk about, I want to get to what we're doing tonight at the store, because we talk about.
This is your weekly network meeting. Starts at 6:45 every Thursday. You're more than welcome to come. You may want to get there early because it fills up in a hurry.
It does. And the reason that this is important is because it has to do with terrorism, protecting yourself. It has to do with active shooter situations. We're going to talk about gun safety. And there are some people that don't carry. There's some people that carry, but they don't have a permit. And there are people that carry a gun properly with a permit. And those things are very important. But guns are not something to play around with. As I mentioned last week, we've had a couple of shootings in the area in the last couple of weeks with kids who have found guns. Those type of things are happening every day, where a child will shoot another child or themselves. They're killing somebody with a gun because it was left laying around. Gun safety is very, very important. And I believe everybody should be carrying a gun legally if they're of age. And so we're going to talk about gun safety, but also we have a new product at the store. The company is called Level 4 Armor, and this is a manufacturer of body armor. We've occasionally had body armor that's come into the store. We have the vests, but now we're going to have Level 4 plates. We're going to have Level 3 plates if those are what you want to go with. But this manufacturer, Level 4 Armor, they have standalone Level 4 plates. So that will stop up to a 7.62 round. It'll stop the green-tipped armor piercing rounds.
And that's a Level 4?
That's Level 4. We have
now who would typically have outside of your private owner, who would have that type of round? Is that a military grade round, or is that a police round, or is this something that terrorists have used in the past?
The 7.62 is primarily used by two types of people. That's the round of the AK-47.
Right.
So that's a round that our terrorists use. And then also a little variant. It's still 7.62. It's just a larger bullet, but that's the 308 caliber. That's what snipers use. That's what hunters use. Things like that. They can be purchased legally here in the United States, and the body armor is legal for anybody to own. Well, in certain states, I don't think California civilians are allowed to be protected. Right, but in this area,
they got too many people out there anyway.
Right, yeah,
we can thin them out.
You can certainly own it in this area, and one of the products that Level 4 Armor has, they have Level 3 soft armor that will fit into a backpack. It's soft, which means it's bendable, it's flexible, it's less than 2 pounds for the soft armor. It fits very nicely into a backpack or a briefcase. So if you want your kids...
Is it a wearable vest, or is it just the armor?
This is just an armor. It's about the size of an 11 by 17 notepad.
Okay.
Maybe two notepads put together, 11 inches wide by 70. I don't even think that's right. I'm thinking more like probably 10 by 14, 10 by 17, something like that. But listen, folks, it fits into a backpack. Your kids at school, college, if you go to work, you can put it in your briefcase. If there's an active shooter, that gives you something that you can hide behind. It may seem kind of small, but it's light. It's light enough to fit in the backpack. Level 4 armor is very important. They also make armored blankets, and it's made of the same material. This isn't the type of blanket that's going to keep you warm.
Right.
It's
protection blanket.
It'll stop most typical pistol rounds. Mm-hmm. And those are things that are very common in some of these active shooter situations. And
I say it every week. Look, we have a great, phenomenal resource in Chattanooga that a lot of people do not have. In fact, Duke was telling me last week, a guy from Oklahoma happened to be in Nashville on business. They don't have anything like that like this in Nashville. So he drove to Chattanooga to do business with P5 Preparedness. And I think you should do business with P5 Preparedness. Come in the store, look around. I mean, you got a lot of great selection of products, but more importantly, you have knowledge. And that's what's important, especially if this is something you're interested in starting out. So make sure you get to P5 Preparedness. And they are located on East Brainerd Road. And you know exactly where they are because they got that big, cool looking Army truck, the old Deuce and a Half sitting up there. And so they have specials. They've got $1 off seed packs, which is big. Now, these are organic seed packs. And they're USDA certified, and they have zero growth hormones in them, so which is a big thing. They have not been genetically modified either. Yep. So give them a call over at the store. It's 423-602-2175. That's 602-2175.
And you can get seeds anywhere. You can go to Walmart. You can go to the big box stores and get them. But here's the thing with those. You don't know what you're getting. You could be getting genetically modified seeds. And the problem with that is that might give you the ability to grow vegetables this year, but you cannot harvest those seeds and rely on them next year.
And it's not tulip seeds either. These are seeds that you're going to put in. If you go to the store and see the aquaponics that they have, very cool. These are seeds for edibles. is what it is.
Yep. These are great. You got to get some of them. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about an active shooter situation and what you can do to protect yourself.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your chance to win $124 in cash and $124 in food every week with the Hot News Talk Radio Five Guys Burgers and Fries 1, 2, 3 NASCAR contest. All you have to do is guess who's going to be first, second, and third place in the upcoming NASCAR Sprint Cup race. If you guess it, you'll hear your name live Monday morning at 11:30. Then call AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio to win. Enter your guess right now at Five Guys Burgers and Fries 153 in Hickson, featuring the juiciest 100% all beef, have it your way hamburgers and the most delicious milkshakes in town. Enter your guesses now at Five Guys Burgers and Fries, Route 153 in Hickson. Then listen to the race live to win $124 in cash and $124 in food from Five Guys Burgers and Fries and Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
I love NASCAR. Shake it at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. The most delicious and unique milkshakes. How about this for delicious and different? Add freshly cooked bacon to any milkshake.
Is that even legal?
You bet your milkshake and booty it is. Chocolate caramel bacon shake. Coffee caramel shake. All hand blended. Shake it. Down at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Just about any flavor shake that you can imagine. And they are delicious. Get your shake on at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Five Guys Burgers and Fries, located in Hickson at North Point. Gun Barrel at the Walmart Center. Downtown 4th and Broad. And in Cleveland at Keith and Stewart.
Sign up today. You want to take these classes. 50% off. Limited time offer. 50% off of all classes at P5 Preparedness. Space is limited. Sign up today. 50% off of all of their classes at P5 Preparedness.
P5 Preparedness on East Brainerd between Gun Barrel and I-75. Look for the Green Army truck, 423-602-2175. Look for us on Facebook.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. A family from Tennessee is still missing following the Brussels terror attack. Justin and Stephanie Schultz were last seen following an explosion at a Brussels airport. It was previously reported that they had been located. That was a misreport. The two have not been found, and the crews are still looking for them following that blast in Brussels. We'll keep you updated on their situation. District Attorney Pinkston says he's now being bashed by the mayor, the police chief, and the city council after giving input which was requested from him on the VRI. He came out with a statement which in part says, "My staff and I have devoted considerable time and effort to supporting the city's initiative, and I want the VRI to be successful. For that to happen, the city has to implement the entire plan, not just parts of it." He goes on to say that he's done as much as he can, and any statements he's made in public were also raised in private. This is nothing new to the city council. We'll keep you updated on that as well. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Expect breezy and mild weather out there through the afternoon. Highs up around 70, but look for scattered showers and a few strong storms will march in from the west through the late afternoon and evening. Tonight, showers will move off to the east after midnight. Lows mid and upper 40s. For Friday, becoming partly cloudy, highs mid-60s, sunny and pleasant Saturday. Get an extra 20% off select items with your JCPenney credit card and coupon, or 15% off any other form of payment. That's getting your pennies worth at JCPenney. And I'm Sourcing 12 Chief Meteorologist Patriot on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
We're back, the Patriot Prepper Show. We're here to help you get ready for the disasters that could be coming your way. You probably have homeowners insurance, car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, dental insurance. But what insurance do you have that's going to keep you alive? That's where we come in. We help get you ready for any number of emergencies. You know, hey, you've probably heard of Nibiru or Planet X. There's all kinds of things going on out there. They may or may not be going on. You don't know because you listen to the mainstream media. You just hear what's going on and what they tell you is going on. I don't understand how they can say that Donald Trump cannot beat Hillary Clinton, but Ted Cruz and John Kasich can. John Kasich has continually been last.
I mean, you know, he's won one state, which is
Ohio,
which he should win.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yet he can beat Hillary Clinton. Now, first of all, that would tell me that Hillary Clinton is the worst candidate. I could beat Hillary Clinton.
You could, yes.
Yeah, if Kasich,
you should be able to.
I'd beat the hell. No, no. But I mean,
luscious.
But you like that, don't you? But Trump can't. I mean, Trump, who, you know, I just want to see those two go after it. I don't care if neither one of them make their, you know, that they get their nomination.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I want to see it on pay-per-view.
It
Cage
doesn't
match.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Quit getting distracted. If you're a Republican,
no.
How is it that Donald Trump is carrying the black vote in a lot of areas? He's carrying Hispanics, but yet he can't beat Hillary Clinton.
And women.
That's just stupid.
And women.
And so here's another thing I want you to keep in mind. I always think of whatever we're talking about the most on TV, we're ignoring other stuff. So we're focused on the terror attacks in Europe and that Europe is going to be the target. Well, they are. We're next. You know, they targeted Americans in Belgium. They didn't just pick anybody at random. They hit American Airlines. They hit Starbucks. They hit the train depot near the NATO headquarters. Come on, folks, wake up. We're next. Be ready for it. Here's the thing with Obama. He's in Cuba.
Barack Hussein Obama.
You probably are not aware of this. China is right now the #1 country that is investing in the Caribbean. Did you know that for the last 2 years, China has been the #1 trade and investment partner with Cuba? I say that again. China is the #1 partner economically and defense with Cuba. So we damn better be in Cuba trying to figure out how we end this feud that we've been having with them. Look, folks, I don't care. You know, I know there are bad people that are in Cuba. I also know they're pissed off at us because we had this little invasion called the Bay of Pigs, didn't turn out so well. We couldn't pick out if we were on the side with Cuba or if we were on the side with the United States. We were fighting with ourselves over that thing.
I agree.
But here's the thing, folks. What's going on? I think China just built some islands. Have you ever heard of a country building islands? I know God can build islands.
Yeah.
He uses volcanoes for that.
Well, didn't Dubai, didn't they build a couple islands out there? But they made theirs in fun, festive, like the world and a palm tree. What did China make theirs in? Like a nuclear missile?
Nuclear missiles, lots of defense.
Shirts from Walmart. I think that's what theirs looked like. T-shirts from Walmart.
Air bases. You know, we built bomb shelters because we were afraid of the Soviets putting a few nuclear missiles 90 miles off the coast of the U.S. That's some kind of, I'm paraphrasing from some movie.
Right.
But now, who knows what China's going to do? So, yeah, I think we should be in Cuba. Hey, I'd like to go. I've heard they've got great places to scuba dive there.
Absolutely, and cigars. I'm there.
And so China is also a huge trade partner with Argentina, where I think that
that's
Obama is learning how to do the cha-cha. Was that it?
The tango.
Tango. Oh, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't ballroom dance. Sorry.
Yes. I do.
Yeah.
I'm an accomplished ballroom dancer.
So what?
That's how I got my middle name, Luscious.
What do you think that
I think
doing?
Two things. I think on this trip he was trying to accomplish two things. As you know, his term as president of the United States will end in January, and there's two things that he was trying to do.
Allegedly end in January.
Yeah. Well, Hillary would knock him off. Bill will have him shot if he doesn't leave. I think he's looking to maybe be doing play-by-play for the Cuban national baseball team.
Yep.
And if that didn't work out, then he can be on Dancing with the Stars. That way he was doing the tango. And everybody was disgusted. And he defamed us by not doing, by not coming back to the U.S. during these terror attack, if you've seen his tango, that's who it's discussing, and that's who he defamed. The dance, the tango. That's my take. That's what I think of Barack Hussein Obama.
But that is a good point. Maybe he's trying out for Dancing.
I think it is
with the Stars.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
he can be the play-by-play for the Cuban national baseball team too.
I wonder, has he been to American baseball games, or is this the first time he's been? I don't know.
I'm not even sure he's been to America.
Yeah.
So I think he lives offshore somewhere and circles in. So
he could.
No, but what is your take on Barack Hussein Obama's actions?
You know, he probably could have spoken more than 51 seconds, but what's he going to do? I tell you, I have more of a problem when I was driving by I think it was the park in Collegedale, or it was somewhere where I saw the national flag at half staff. You know, I don't think we should drop the flag every time somebody, you know, dies overseas. I mean,
right.
that should be for
special
our
occasions.
heroes. Right. You know,
I agree. And, you know, I think the rest of the world by now, they could care less what Obama has to say. I mean, he is such a non-figure in the world. He is such just a non-participant. And I think, you know, no one listens when he talks. So he has to go to countries like Cuba and Argentina where, you know, they probably aren't as propagandized as we are.
Well, the president of China, Hu Jintao, was in Cuba about 10 or 12 years ago. And so we're a few years too late. Who knows what we've lost out with a stronger partnership with Cuba. You know, we're worried about closing at least the prisoner detention part of Guantanamo.
Well, first of all, what does Cuba have to offer the United States outside of nice beaches and scuba diving? I mean, really nothing. It's not like they're manufacturing. I mean, I'm sure they have a lot of parts for cars from the 1950s there we could use.
Sure.
But other than there, I mean, you know what? I understand China. I mean, strategically, yes, we should be partners with them because we don't need somebody parked off the Florida coast down there. But manufacturing and economic wise, none. We have no, you know, outside of another island that one of our cruise ships can go to. But when it comes to the security of this country, absolutely, we need to form that relationship.
Yeah. And China has never really had a deep water Navy. You know, they're more regional. The deep water means that they can sail across oceans. They can project their power internationally. But that's one thing that they're looking to do. And, you know, Cuba has several deep water ports. They've separately from Cuba, they've invested $4 or $5 billion in Jamaica. I know that we like to go, not we, me, you, but people like to go to Jamaica for vacation. But, you know, the Caribbean nations are looking to distance themselves from the United States. They're looking for other international trade partners, and that weakens us. That weakens us significantly. All right, so enough on that. I want to go back to, we're talking about terrorism. I want to talk a little bit about active shooter situations. You need to come by the store, get one of the I say bulletproof. Nothing is truly bulletproof if you have a large enough gun and large enough bullet. But the bulletproof inserts, the ballistic insert that you put into your backpack or your briefcase, that's something that would help protect yourself if there is an active shooter situation.
And you have those at P5 preparedness?
Not active shooter situations. No, we don't.
Oh, well, that's good.
We are a gun-friendly store.
But out front you do.
Some of our neighbors may have that, but they'll call us.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And but yes, we have those right now. We're just taking orders for them, but you can come by the store and you can get a look at it, and you can talk to me. I'm Duke. You can talk to Seth or Keith, and we'll certainly help you with your needs for anything that you would call bullet resistant. Bullet resistance is very important to you.
Right.
And the new vests that we have are made to go under your clothing. And so you could, and these are, they're no metal parts. So you could wear it through the airport if you wanted to. And hey, there's a lot of these bad things that are happening at airports.
At airports, yeah.
And
that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. That's nice. P5 Preparedness. The store is on East Brainerd Road. You can go to p5preparedness.com. That's P5 preparedness.com, or give them a call at 423-602-2175. That's 602-2175.
One of the things that you need to do is avoid the areas where terrorists are going to be. And so, you know, we're afraid of grocery stores and shopping malls.
Like Europe,
Belgium, France,
Middle
Paris.
East.
Yeah. And, you know, the idea of terror is, well, terrorism is to cause terror, to scare you, to cause you to suffer from terror, to be afraid, to not go and not participate in your daily life. So if you find yourself in an active shooter situation, there's a couple things that you need to do. I say shoot back, have a gun, so that way you can safely engage an active shooter if you're able to do so. You need to know how to duck and cover. If you hear a loud noise, the first thing you don't need to do is stand tall and go, oh, wait, what's that? I heard something.
I think it's over there.
Yeah. You need to take cover. So there's a term that they use. It's called cover or concealment. Cover or concealment. Cover is a sturdy subject that bullets cannot go through. Something that's concrete, that is made of a substantial material. It might be a large planter box that's concrete or wood that has a lot of dirt in it. It could be a concrete bench. It could be a pillar. Could be a staircase or something if you're in the mall. Something made of 1/2 inch or more of steel. A soda machine would be something like that. So you take cover. You duck and cover. That was really popular in the 50s. Your grandparents probably know a lot about that because it was taught in all the schools, and it was to help protect people from nuclear war, from nuclear fallout. Duck and cover. They teach it a little bit in schools these days when it comes to tornadoes. They probably teach it with active shooter situations. They better, because it's coming. Where are the active shooter situations that we've seen so far? There were people gather. It could be in a school or another public place. The places that scare me, if you think about Black Friday, that's the shopping day after Thanksgiving, where you have 500 people lining up outside of some big fancy big box store. They're standing out in the public, in the dark, outside the door, waiting for the doors to open at 6 a.m. Wow, what kind of damage could somebody with a backpack bomb do in a place like that? You know, from Belgium, I saw an x-ray that showed somebody with a 3-inch bolt in their chest. Wow. That's pretty big, folks. That could do a lot of damage if it is flying at you at 1,000 miles an hour, or whatever a bomb does.
That hurt.
So you think about how to avoid those kind of situations. Do you really need to save that $7 or $20 on that item to be in a mob like that? You think about the large lines at sporting events, or, you know, when I go to the movie theaters, I don't even see long lines anymore. No. I don't know. I mean, even for the Star Wars, I went at the wrong time. I don't know. But think about how you can avoid those kind of large gatherings. And again, they want to inflict terror. So think of the activities where your children go. Maybe it's a library, it's a school, maybe it's a youth sporting event.
Church.
Absolutely. You know, there are pastors that are getting shot. Most of those seem to be more domestic related. Right. But churches are definitely a gathering place. These are Islamic terrorists. And so church would be a good place to hit. So how do you protect yourself? You know, one of the things, again, I will go back to the gun. It's not a bad thing. There are bad people that do things with guns, but there are also good things that people do. You know, having a firearm is one of the top ways of preventing a rape.
Preventing a lot of things, a mugging. I mean, you know, like you said, I mean, something else to be aware if you're going to go, because it's easy for us to say don't go to the Black Friday events and don't, but there are people that's their yearly thing. They love. If you're going to go and you're going to get caught up in the moment, keep your head on a swivel. Know what's going on, looking around. Is there someone that looks different, suspicious? Is there someone walking around with 2 big backpacks? Is there someone that is eyeing the crowd? I mean, just keep your eyes open, be aware, and have a little common sense. Because people, you know, you go to a sporting event. I mean, I'm not going to not go to a sporting event because I'm worried about, you know, getting shot or blown up, but I am going to look around. I'm going to see who's sitting around me. I'm going to see who's around me in line. Is there anything weird coming? I'm going to listen. You know, all of a sudden you hear a car accelerate towards you or something like that. But like you said, if you don't have to go, maybe you shouldn't go. Maybe, or, you know, don't expose children or your family in places that it shouldn't be. Don't let your wife go to the Black Friday events by herself. Keep her home and think of all the money you'd save.
Yeah, that's a really smart thing to do. And the guns, again, people get training. Tonight at P5 Preparedness, we're going to be talking about gun safety, and we're going to encourage those that are there that don't have guns to get a gun and learn how to use it. And by using a gun, there's all kinds of things that are involved with using a gun beyond just shooting the gun. You know, for using a gun, you load it, you load the magazines, or you load the cylinder if it's a revolver. You have to learn how to put it in your holster properly. You have to learn how to pull it. You have to know when to pull it, when to use it. And a lot of people like to keep their guns really nice and shiny and treat it as if it's something very special. And it is, in a sense. Obviously, it can do a whole lot of harm, so you want to treat it with respect. But to me, a gun is a tool. You know, when I'm done with my hammer or my shovel, I wipe it down and put it back where it belongs. That's the same thing that you should do with your gun. You should wipe it down and put it back where it belongs. But don't think that it's something to just keep on a shelf or in a drawer or be afraid to scratch it. You know, it's a tool. Tools are to be respected and used properly. You know, so anyway, you have to know what you're doing with a gun. You have to be able to be familiar with it and be comfortable with it. And there are different types of guns, different types of, mostly we're going to talk about handguns. Find the gun that's right for you. There are people that have smaller hands. You know, I'm a large man, but I have small hands. So I can't just pick up any double stack magazine 45 caliber pistol and be able to use it comfortably in my hand. But I can find a single stack 45 that fits very nicely in the palm of my hand. And so find something that works for you. But you have to.
I just had a tweet come in and want to know if you and I were wearing the body armor because of our size right now. If we actually had the body armor on under. And no, that's not body armor. It is biscuits. We want everybody to know.
Well, I was going to say I was wearing 2 sets of body armor.
Oh, there today. You go. Yeah. No, it's biscuits. Trust me.
Hey, it's good to know. Thank you. Thank you for tweeting in and watching us live.
There you go.
And yeah, the show is being broadcast live on the YouTube channel for Hot News Talk Radio. And you can also go back and you can watch last week's episode or the episode from 2 months ago. And in the description for the show, there's a write-up that'll give you an idea of what we've talked about during the show. And so, yeah, today we're talking about terrorism, how to avoid it if you can. One thing that I encourage people to do is...
You have your network meeting right quick before we get on to the subject. Network meeting tonight is going to be talking about gun safety. Starts at 6:45. It's at P5 Preparedness. That's on East Brainerd Road. It's between Gun Barrel and Highway 75. Sits up on the hill. You can see the big deuce-and-a-half Army truck there. It says P5 on it. You can't miss it. I would get there early. 2 reasons. So you can walk through and look at all the cool stuff in the store. And they normally have a full crowd, especially if you're talking about guns. There will be a lot of people there. Give them a call at 423-602-2175. That's 602-2175. And tell them I would like to come tonight.
Talking about active shooter situations, 2 ways. We've mentioned that there's 2 ways that you can protect yourself. The first way is if there's an active shooter situation, you take cover. You hide behind something until you can shoot back. The second way, this is something because of politically correctness. We don't want to hurt people's feelings or, you know, maybe the police are too busy. One thing the government has said, Janet Napolitano, I think, came up with it when she was the director of Homeland Security. If you see something, say something. Unless you're a government whistleblower, then you just get fired and charged.
And moved to Russia.
But the idea for the local economy here, the local place where we live, if you see something that looks suspicious to you, call the police. Report what you see. Report what you saw. If you think that there are Muslims that are acting suspicious, or if they're gangbangers in an area, or if you think somebody's casing a house, you know, if there's somebody weird in your neighborhood, you need to report that. You need to report them. At the very least, there's going to be a nice police officer or sheriff's deputy that's going to show up, ask you questions about what you saw, and they might make a report on it. They might actually catch the person and investigate that person to find out what they were doing. Maybe you were 100% right. They were being suspicious and they have a warrant and now they're going to jail. And maybe you just prevented something from happening because they were looking to break into a house or shoot up a restaurant or something like that. But you prevented it because you had the courage to speak up and say something. That's something that we have to do. We have to look out for each other. You know, there are some people that believe in community policing and that you don't need the police. Well, that's a fantastic concept, but we are in a society where we do need the police and the sheriff's department. They are there to serve and to protect us, but we need to help them. You can help them in a number of ways. The first way is by getting to know them. And this is a good way to do it. You see something that's suspicious, you call them, and somebody comes out and they'll take a statement from you. And you know what? If the same guy has cased your neighborhood 3 or 4 or 5 different houses, and there's been 3 or 4 or 5 different phone calls, well, what? Gosh, now they have probable cause maybe to pick the guy up if somebody gets a license plate, or maybe they'll spend a little bit more time driving through your neighborhood. I know that in our neighborhood, we have signs up that say we have a neighborhood watch. I'm not sure if we actually have a neighborhood watch or if those signs are just supposed to scare people. But the thing is, folks, that most burglars, most bad guys, most thieves will case a house or an area before they break into it.
I took that wrong. I've been watching my neighbors. It's just neighborhood watch. So I've been watching my neighbors. I can tell you what, there's some wild stuff going on in my neighborhood. Dang it. I didn't realize we were supposed to watch people coming in the neighborhood. Thanks, man. You say I've learned something today.
Maybe that's a good thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It could be. But hey, help the police. Help each other. You know, that might come back to really do some good. You just never know. But if you stay silent, you could end up being the victim to something. And, you know, you think back, maybe I could have said something. Maybe I could have done something. How many times has that happened? Well, you know, a lot of these things, you need a plan. What is your plan? What's your emergency plan? Have you talked to your kids about what they would do if there's an active shooter in their school, or how to respond to something like that? We've had active shooter situations here in Chattanooga, unfortunately. It's less than a year ago. You know, if you own a business, do you have an emergency plan? Well, P5 Preparedness, we can help you with that. We can put together a business plan that is affordable and it makes sense, and it will help your employees to protect themselves.
And you do consulting as well as you have the store there. That's one of the main things y'all do over there is consulting. Hey, they've got their network meeting tonight. This weekend, you have a workshop, and it's going to be on what? Tactical trauma?
Tactical trauma. It's kind of an advanced first aid class where, yes, we have April 2nd is when we're doing our first aid, CPR, and AED class for certification. And but for this class, the tactical trauma class this weekend, you don't need to have the basic part. We're going to cover a lot of the basics, but this is one of the things that fits right in with an active shooter situation. It'll talk about the type of first aid kit that you need to have to respond to an active shooter situation where you need to help save somebody's life. How do you use a chest seal? How do you plug a gunshot wound? How do you apply a tourniquet if there's been an explosion? Those are the kind of things that you need. And Dr. David Powers is going to be teaching this class for us. He's a combat medic. He's a former paramedic. He's worked for the Department of Homeland Security. He knows what it means to respond to danger, to a bad situation. P5 Preparedness, we're there to help you. We can only help you if you'll let us, because you're ready to help yourself. So come by the store, talk to us. We're always ready to help. This is the Patriot Prepper Show, sponsored by P5 Preparedness. You've got Colin Cowherd coming up next. Have a great week.
Expect breezy and mild weather out there through the afternoon. Highs up around 70, but look for scattered showers and a few strong storms to march in from the west through the late afternoon and evening. Tonight, showers will move off to the east after midnight. Lows mid and upper 40s for Friday, becoming partly cloudy. Highs mid 60s, sunny and pleasant Saturday. Get an extra 20% off select items with your JCPenney credit card and coupon, or 15% off any other form of payment. That's getting your pennies worth at JCPenney. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patriot on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
MLS 2239. What would you do with all that cash? Listen up, y'all. Ben Phillips here. Home Rate Mortgage. 805-9100. $1,200. That's how much we just put back in a Saudi Daisy family's pocket per month. All they did was pick up the phone. 805-9100. That's 805-9100. Get that quick quote now. 805-9100. HomeRateMortgage.com. MLS 2239. Do you want to achieve the American dream in 2016? Listen up, y'all. I'm Ben Phillips with Home Rate Mortgage, 805-9100.